Hello, my dear friends and fellow developers. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to continue our journey in which we are discussing different topics related to our LWC framework. In our previous session, we have discussed like how we can render a list in our HTML template. We have also discussed like how we can show an HTML conditionally based on some directives. We have also seen how we can render HTML template itself based on some conditions with the help of render method. So today we are going to continue our journey and let's see what story now today's session. So today we will discuss a very important topic named as reactivity. So basically what does reactive means? So let's suppose if any field value changes, then the component has to be re-rendered. So that is what basically means by reactivity. So now how we can achieve that in our LWC framework. So as per the latest release of our LWC, all fields are now reactive. That is one thing. Now how it works. So there is one method, namely as rendered callback method, which is a part of lifecycle hook. So basically what it does is like it evaluates certain conditions or certain expression which we have defined in our rendered callback, and then it re-renders the entire HTML component based on some re-evaluated values. So with the help of rendered callback, we can do so, like we can render the entire HTML itself based on some conditions. The second thing which we need to look into consideration is like whenever we want to make any field reactive, okay, so that has to be decorated with @API. So why we are making use of this decorator is for to make the property as a public property, so that any component, or you can say any parent component in which this particular child component has been embedded, they can access this particular property and do the modification. So based on that modification, the component will be re-rendered. Okay. So now how we can make a public property reactivity and how to achieve it. So to achieve this public property reactivity, we have to decorate a field or property with the decorator API. So what it will do is like whenever that particular value of that property changes, so the component will be rendered. So for example, let's suppose we have a name which is decorated with API. So let's suppose the initial value of that name is Pramod. Okay. So now when the we will load the our HTML component in our web browser, so that name will be replaced with Pramod, as we already know with the help of binding. But now let's suppose in further step or in further operations in further methods, we updated that name with, let's suppose, Sia. So now what it will do, since the name has been changed and the field is reactive, so now it will re-render the entire component with the updated value, which is Sia. So that the promote name, which we have earlier, it will be replaced by Sia, and then the entire component will be re-rendered. So this is how we can make a public property reactive. Now, one more thing which we should need to take into consideration is like all the property names in JavaScript has to be in camel case, and the attribute name has to be in kebab case when we are referring to that in our HTML template. So this is one of the key point which we need to consider. The third point, that the property name in JavaScript has to be in camel case, and in HTML it has to be in kebab case. Otherwise, the reactivity will not work, and you will wonder why it is not changing if the value is changing in the runtime. So this is very important topic, or you can say very important point which we should know, that the JavaScript property name has to be in camel case, and the same property name in HTML has to be in co-op case, which is the dash separated value. Now let's see one example how we can achieve this public reactivity. So basically we have two components over here, to do app and to do item. So here to do app is the parent component and to do item is the child component. As you can see, this to do item has been used in to do app in template tab. Now, what we are doing, as you can see in child tab, we had mentioned item name with added API. So what it is doing, it is exposing this item name to other component. In this case, to do app, which is the parent component. Now, what parent can do, it can pass the value of this name to this item name and then do the operation. So now, when this to do app will be rendered in our web browser, so what it will do, it will replace this to do example with the item name as milk and item name as bread. So when you will run in the browser, you will get something like this, the default value, because in our child component we have given the template with default item name. So in runtime, it will take the values from parent because we have decorated the property with @API name, and it will take the value from parent, and the same will be used in our child component, which is to do item, and it will replace at runtime the item name with the values which is provided, like milk and bread. And this is the real life how it will be shown in the web browser. So this is one of the example with the help of which we can know how the public reactivity works, and just a small basic scenario with the API, like how it can be used to expose the public property, or you can say expose the property to be used by other component. That's pretty much for today about the reactivity and how we can achieve public reactivity. If you like my content, please like and share and subscribe. Thank you very much for viewing the video so far.